Thank God.
Yeah,
I know.
that's the DA. Although if he showed up, I would have talked to him too.
Here's the first one, 2017, because that's what you want to talk about first, right?
Yes, but that chart's
Okay.
Hi, everybody. I'm Christine Schiavone, and our show is Spiritual Exploration. Today, we're going to be talking about the eclipses of 2017, which just passed on August 21st, 2017. Everybody will probably remember. And the one that's coming up in 2024, which should be exactly like the one we just had. And with me to talk about this is our astrologer, Mary Silvernail. Hello, Mary.
Hi, Christine. I'm so happy to be back on your show. Thank you
I'm
for
so
having
happy
me.
to have you back. I've been waiting a while for you.
I know. I've been waiting too.
Well, we were supposed to do this show before the eclipse in
Yes,
August.
Yes, we were. Yes, we
And
were.
then you had an unfortunate fall
Yes, I did.
where you fractured bones in your foot. And this is since August. This is now October 20th. And this is the first time you've been able to actually travel.
Absolutely.
Right? Yes.
Yes. I have 6 fractures.
Oh, my
Yeah,
God.
and it came out of the blue.
Yeah, right? Who
Yeah.
expected it, right?
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
know.
Just walking across a busy street, and
And-
someone was texting and running.
Running and
and-
texting at the same
well,
time.
kind of like walking fast.
Walking fast.
She was walking fast, and it was very busy. You know, it's down at the beach.
And you didn't
And
see
you
her
know, I
coming.
live down there, huh?
You didn't see her coming.
No, I didn't. Well, I could see. I tried to get out of her way, but I still got knocked down. And there you go.
And then
First
she
time-
took off.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, she helped me up first.
And then she
She
left.
did. No, very nice. She and her friend helped me up, but I didn't get her name, so I
Well,
don't
what are you
know.
gonna do?
Yeah, and I didn't even know that my foot was broken until the next day.
Oh, really? It took that
Yeah.
long?
Oh, yeah.
So then you just continued on and did what you were going to do?
Well, I
and-
didn't go to the beach.
No, you didn't go to the
but
beach.
I walked back to my car with my beach chair.
Ah.
And my beach bag.
And the next day you
then
were in
the next
pain.
day I couldn't. Well, by the time I got home, I couldn't get up.
Wow.
I mean, I couldn't walk on it, put any pressure on it. And then the next day, I went to the emergency room
Oh,
and
boy.
found out. Yeah, and then I was laid up for a while.
I'm glad
So
you're
I am
on the
s-
mend.
I am so happy to be back here.
Oh, I'm so happy
Thank
to have you. Very
Thank
happy to have you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so
So we're talking about now the eclipses.
Yes.
The one we just had, August 21st, 2017.
yes,
And then we have the exact same one, which hadn't happened in 99 years?
99 years.
And then it finally happened. Now, 99
Yes.
years is before most of us, right?
Right.
More than most of
Well,
us.
yeah, I mean, unless you're lucky enough to be 100 now, right? So let's look at that.
Lucky or not lucky, I don't want to go that far myself.
No, I know.
Anyway, though, no, the thing is that we had the eclipse, and then we have another one exactly like it, 6 years later.
Yeah, isn't that something?
So we're 99 years, and then it happens, and then it's going to happen again 6 years later.
Yes.
So now,
Yes.
tell
and
us.
it's yes, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Tell us about the one that we just had, and then we'll go into the one that we're going to have.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, the one we just had was August 21st, 2017. And I think that we have a chart of how across the United States. and also the next one that'll be coming on April 8th, 2024, and how the crisscross, yes, there it is, right on the screen. And so the first one, the downward one, that started out in Oregon, that's the one, August 21st, 2017, that we all got to experience. And as you can see, it's highly it's highly unusual the way that the next one is going to come in crisscross. And I can go further into that. But in reference to the one that happened on August 21st, 2017, that one we're still feeling the effects of. So even though when I got injured and we had to postpone the show, I was explaining to you that really we're still going to be in the effects of it for like 2 to 3 years thereafter. Just like, yesterday was a new moon, and you and I were just talking about it out before we came on camera. And for 3 days before a new moon or 3 days after a new moon, or also with a full moon, you still have those effects. So you know how they say people get very strange at the time of a full moon, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's research that's been done about that.
That's right. I know.
That's the truth.
You're driving, somebody cuts you off and all that kind of stuff. It's like there's no communication.
Yeah, and retail stores know when it's a full moon because it's like a lot of strange people come out. I don't know. No, I'm serious. They've done research on this.
Werewolves come out.
You never know. It is almost Halloween. But no. But the reason that I'm bringing that up is because any planetary astrological aspect, such as a big heavy duty one like this, August 21st, that we just experienced of the eclipse, okay? But even just if it's the new moon or the full moon that's happening once a month, the effects last and linger. It's called a shadow. Where after the effect happens, just like Mercury retrograde, when Mercury, a lot of people know about Mercury retrograde.
A lot of people don't,
direct.
too. Sometimes I mention it now. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, 3 or 4 times a year, the planet Mercury goes retrograde.
Which is backwards.
It
seems to go backwards.
It seems to go backwards in that orb. But, and then it affects things like communication, appointments, travel, mechanical things, and things like that.
At that point,
things
you shouldn't buy
down,
anything new,
stuff.
especially mechanical or electronic things.
Right. There's a whole lot of things you have to really double check, any contracts you sign, etc. But the effects even linger a little bit after because of the shadow. Yeah, even once it goes direct.
Right.
So a lot of people don't realize that. As soon as they see that Mercury went direct, they go, "Ooh, good, now we're all free." And everybody loves it when it goes direct after it's been retrograde, but because everything gets put on hold.
Yes.
But there's still a little bit of that essence.
Got to wait another 3 or 4 days.
Around,
right. Yes.
But in reference to when you're dealing with a total eclipse like this, that we had August 21st, which, like you were saying, 99 years, right?
And then suddenly,
over the United States, and then suddenly, but what happens is the effects of that. There has also been research done that eclipse, that kind of a total eclipse, can actually affect you in a physical way. It heightens your emotions. You can feel things more sensitively. Like, boy, that would not be a day I would want to go to the dentist. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because everything is like on high alert,
Right.
Everything is more intense. For us physically. Animals, they retreat and they
react to these things. They're very sensitive.
Right.
Absolutely.
And but the effects of this one with the United States, and can we discuss that a little bit?
Sure, yes,
Oh,
absolutely,
wonderful.
yes.
Because this eclipse went directly across the United States. It cut right across the country.
Yes.
And what I find interesting, because as an astrologer, I also look at charts of not just people, but of countries,
cities.
Right. So I have a chart here of the United States of America. And so I just wanted to mention, I mean, if you would like to put up the chart for the United States, the astrological chart, then we could see what an astrological chart looks like. And that's an astrological chart. So the one that I'm referring to, though, so any person, any entity, even a corporation, any country, animals, a building,
Because they all have a birth date.
Right. They
A
all
date
have
where
a
they
birth
were-
date, and you can do a chart.
Yeah.
But that's what an astrological chart looks like. But now what I'd like to talk about is how the eclipse affected the August 21st eclipse affected the United States, because that eclipse was a new moon, and it was a new moon in Leo, and where it fell was in the 9th house of the United States of America, and the 9th house is of foreign lands. So Mercury on that same date was also retrograde. Did you know that? Did you remember that?
That's right. Mercury was retrograde when we had this eclipse.
Yes, August 21st, 2017.
Right.
And Mercury was actually, even though it was in Virgo and the sun and the moon were in Leo, it was right next to, just a few degrees away, 9 degrees away from the eclipse. And so that's why there's been a lot of confusion right after the eclipse, it intensified, like with North Korea, that kind of a situation, and the communications and things like that. And it just, everything, I mean, as far as anything to do with foreign lands, just really got high on the priority. Did you notice that?
Well, not being an astrologer, I wouldn't really know, but now you're saying that all right, Mercury was retrograde during the eclipse.
So miscommunications, and Mercury had already previously been retrograde. So there was a lot of miscommunications between the United States and other lands.
Oh, I see what you're
That's my
saying now.
point. But it was on steroids and intensified by the eclipse.
So you're saying that astrologically speaking, it affects what's going on in the world as well.
Absolutely.
So, and now you're
Absolutely.
saying that it's going to affect our country for the next 2 to 3 years. But what about the rest of the world? What about the countries that we're dealing with?
Right, but the path actually went across our country this time. Usually you hear
So the
about
other countries didn't hear it, didn't see it?
Well, it depends on where then after it went after that. But I mean, as far as I'm concerned, being here,
Our
yes,
country.
of course.
Yes, of course.
Yes, of course.
We come
It's
first.
unusual. No, I have to tell you, it's unusual because really think about it. It's unusual to have a total eclipse cut completely across the United States of America.
Now
That doesn't usually happen.
that map that we saw with the crisscross.
Yes.
That's
and
where
we
it
could put
crossed.
if we could put that map back up again with the crisscross, that would be great.
That's
Yes.
where it crossed
Yes.
our country.
Our
The
country.
one that's going from the left to the right.
Yes. From the left, from Oregon,
Right.
from the northwest, and cutting all the way down to the Carolinas
And going
Georgia.
into the
Yes.
sea.
And going into the sea. And then if you look at the other eclipse, because you were saying, well, don't eclipses also go through other countries? Well, yes, the one coming from is coming from Mexico in 2024. See, and it's going upward, and it's going to end up in New England.
It's starting then
Canada.
on the bottom left.
Correct. The one in 2024.
24, going up all the way to Canada.
Canada.
And then it's
yeah.
coming through New York too, is it?
Oh, yeah. I have a list of the states. If you want to talk about that now, we can do
Sure,
that.
absolutely.
I have a list of the states for anyone who had missed the August 21st eclipse. On April the 8th, 2024, we'll be having the next total solar eclipse. And here we go. There's going to be 14 states in the path of totality. Totality means where it's a total eclipse, not a partial eclipse. Because, like, even here in New Jersey, we had seen. Well, I'm sorry. I'm saying in New Jersey. I was in New
you're
Jersey.
from
You
New
were in
Jersey.
New York.
I was in Clove Lakes Park.
Yeah. Okay. There you go, babe. Anyway, but some parts of our country on August 21st, we were able to see not a complete eclipse. Not complete. It wasn't a total. It wasn't totality. Where It was completely
I think we
dark.
got like
Did you
70%,
notice?
something like that.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
But as far as the one on April the 8th, 2024, it's going to be in the totality. The path of totality will be traveling through Arkansas, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Maine, Michigan, Missouri, New Hampshire, New York, Ohio, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, Texas, and Vermont.
Wow.
Yep.
So those are the states that will be able to see it.
Yeah, totality.
Totality.
We'll still be able to see it again, like, if you're not in that exact spot.
If you're not in the
right,
line,
in the path. And what the
is New
what we
York
were
in the
showing,
path?
yes, here it is right here. New York is in the path, but it's the northern part of New York.
Oh, in other words,
and
then,
see how it goes like
like-
this. See this whole shadow. This is the path of totality.
Like upstate, you mean?
Yeah.
We wouldn't be able to see it here then.
Well, you're gonna see quite a bit.
Well, just like
I
we
feel
just
we're gonna
did.
see more
Than the last time?
than the last one.
Really?
Oh, absolutely.
'Cause the last one was like
Look how
70%.
close. Yeah,
Yes.
look how close this is.
Right.
Absolutely. And but I find it so interesting that this next one, well, I have so many things to say about this.
Why do you suppose that the next one is happening so soon? The last one was 99 years, and all of a sudden it's like 6 years?
Isn't it amazing?
Yeah.
Well, I have said this on many shows and many workshops I do and many talks. We are, and many astrologers agree with me, we are reaching closer and closer and closer and closer and closer to the center of the galaxy. And as we reach closer and closer and closer to the galactic center, everything speeds up. Time has sped up. Everything is sped up. That's why for people who have an understanding of the different dimensions, such as the 3D dimension, you have an understanding about that, right?
A little bit.
Yeah, I know. But that's what really that is about, is because everything, the energies have sped up so much that it's giving us more pieces of the universe to encounter.
Well, then,
Everything is
if
sped
that's
up.
the case, then after 2024, when's the next one? Do you know? I mean,
I didn't look. No, there's a whole, you can Google it, you can look at a whole list, but these two are the most important to me, and actually
Well, it's
the most
because
important
they're
for the
in our
United
lifetime,
States
sure.
and for the United States of America. And the reason is because of that crisscross that we had just seen on the screen.
Right.
Now look, the first one that came in August, that one cut right across the United States, and it's kind of like, how we've been dealing here in the United States with, there's a lot of division, the left and the right, and the north and the south, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
This eclipse had very similar effects, as you said, 99 years ago. 99 years ago, there was a lot going on. One thing in particular was in reference to birth control. Yes, 99 years ago.
Really?
And that is really where it had all started with that. And now we're dealing with, and it was quite a division, like a left and a right division. Just, that's it.
Well, that would have been like 1918.
Yes,
99
exactly.
years ago.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Well, think about that.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, come on. So, and there was a lot of movement political movement from women that wanted more control of that. And now here we are during the eclipse that we just experienced in August, and we are still experiencing this. There is a lot going on in reference to birth control now, but at a higher level, a higher vibration of it in reference to right to life.
Well, you think more women are practicing that?
Well, yeah, but there's more division. See, there was division back then, and there's division now, but the division is even greater now in reference to that. If you look at the history 99 years ago, and you look at what was going on then, and you look at exactly what's going on now, it's the
Very
same
similar?
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is the same thing.
Well,
I
you know-
mean, you're talking about not too far after, it was not too far after even the Civil War. You see what
Well,
I'm
that's what
saying?
I was about to say,
Because that's what I need to talk about here, the
Well,
North and the South.
Well, yes, exactly, because you know that Planned Parenthood was created around Civil War time.
Yeah, that's my point, kind of
Yes.
like what I was getting at, but you just put it eloquently.
Ah.
Yeah, in reference to birth control and reference to women's rights to their body and things like that. That's what we're talking about. So this is like even at more of a peak now. Any time that an eclipse happens, if the eclipse then comes and happens across the same area again, and it doesn't have to be exact, anything that had happened previously is just intensified. Just like with the planets, the sun goes around every 365 days, right, around our Earth?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And the moon has a cycle of approximately 28 days, goes around our Earth. And each planet has different cycles. The planet Jupiter, it takes 12 to 13 years to go around our Earth. But each time that it comes around again, whatever it was dealing with before, and this is an astrological principle, whatever element was being dealt with before, and the aspects of that element, it intensifies the next time it comes around.
So every time it goes around, it's more intense.
Correct.
And this is over what?
That it
millions
makes
of
the
years?
sense that it makes the same kind of aspects to the other planets.
And this has been
And
going
it's
on
God
since the
who's
beginning
moving
of
the
time?
planets. Yes, absolutely.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely. Well, that's my belief.
Right.
That's
Right.
my belief.
Yeah, sure.
But what I'm looking at here is the fact that the way that this eclipse came into the United States, it started up in the Northwest. It exited out from the Southeast. And we've been dealing with a bit of a division, a similar division back to during Civil War
I
times.
think yes, okay, I understand what you're getting at
Yeah,
now.
it
In
kinda
other
like
words, the
sliced
country was
it.
divided over certain things then, and,
Right.
and we are now.
Right, and what I feel, what I'm praying for, and I hope for, and I really believe, even though a lot of astrologers are looking at this as because the next eclipse is going to come in 6 years, and it's going to intensify in one particular area of the United States where it's going to cross the path exactly. But what I'm looking at, it's coming in from the south, and it's exiting from the north. It's balancing it out.
In other words, the other one came in from the north,
Right.
went to the south, and this one's coming in from the
It's
south.
balancing it out.
I see.
I like to look at it that way because
Well,
I really
sounds
believe it
reasonable,
is that
sure.
way.
Yeah, it does sound
I
reasonable.
think it's bringing the balance, but within that balance, for a period of 7 years, really. I mean, you're talking about almost 7 years, 6.5 years.
Right.
We have to get our stuff straight here, you know.
In other words, we have to straighten out what we're doing, what the country is doing.
Exactly.
And in that time, we'll still have, I imagine, I mean, you said in the other show that we compared the charts of Donald Trump, our
Yes.
president, and the country
Yes.
and everything, that he's going to be around. So
I believe that to be so because, I do believe that to be so. I do
Well, you
believe
saw
that
it in
to be
his chart.
so. Yes, I did.
Right.
Yes, I did.
So what I'm
There
saying
was
is
only
that
one
so
small period of time that I was very concerned about, and that was, like right at the beginning of his presidency, and that was it.
Right. Yeah, because if that's the case, then he will be the one to help straighten out all this stuff that's going on then.
That's what I really feel.
Yeah.
But the problem is, and by the way, the eclipse happened as far as President Trump goes. I just want to mention something in reference to the eclipse, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Is that, he's a Leo rising. That's his rising sign. That's where the sun was rising on the horizon when he was born by his time of birth.
Okay.
Okay? And so he's a Leo rising. This eclipse that we had was in the sign of Leo. It was the Leo new moon, okay?
That's no accident then, huh?
I don't feel it is. I don't believe in coincidence, do you?
Right. No. Everything
No.
happens for a reason.
And the other thing is that where it made some heavy duty, a little bit of negative aspects for him when it happened. But what I'm looking at here, because there was a lot that was going on there. He needed to make a lot of changes. And this eclipse actually went over his rising sign, which that's a very, very, very strong aspect. And there were some other negative aspects there. But sure as anything, Jupiter was in the second house there, which is Jupiter is very lucky. And abundance, and that's the house of money. The second house is money. And the stock market, I mean, from Donald Trump, people have done very well with it.
Sure.
So now the reason that I feel very hopeful in reference to the United States and in reference to Donald Trump with running the United States in 2024, and I'm saying that. And the reason that I'm saying that is because the effects are in a much better placement. What I wanted to look at here, one second here. Here's the United States as far as the eclipse of April 8th, 2024. And everything is lined up down at the bottom as far as like with home base. We're going to be in a much better, safer, stronger position as far as everything at home. And I feel that he's building that up now. Do you understand?
A lot of people can't see it, though, because they don't want to.
No, well, I'm just hoping that he gets a chance to do what he really needs to do. I really feel that he was impinged upon by God
Yes.
to
And if
help
that's
this
the
country.
case, God always wins.
And look, X marks the spot, right? And the spot is right across the United States of America. And people who live actually in where the X is going to be happening is in Makanda, Illinois.
Never heard of
And
it.
I know. Well, anyway, and people are saying wherever the X happens, they're very, very, very lucky people. But
So you're talking about where the middle of the X is, where the both eclipses will have shown themselves? Uh-huh.
yeah, and so so I mean that's where both total eclipses are going to happen.
So
Exactly
where do they
there.
wind up, according to the map, where do they wind up where both of them are crossing?
Makanda,
Oh, Illinois.
Uh-huh.
I see. Well,
And what I'm also looking at here, because that's all the way down in the bottom here from the Great Lakes,
yeah.
from Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm also looking at here is the fact that when the one in 2024 enters, it's coming in from Mexico, which I find extremely interesting.
It's going to start in Mexico.
I feel that our relations with Mexico and all of this, all of this upsetment that has been going on in reference to
The immigrants.
the immigrants and all that. Yeah, I feel it's really going to settle down because it's entering in from Mexico, and where it's exiting is Canada. I really feel good about this. I can't wait for that next eclipse.
Well, let's not rush things.
No, I really can't wait. But how it affects us personally,
Yes,
we
yes.
have to really think about that. Because, we're talking about the country and everything, but how is it affecting us personally? And it all depends on where the eclipse would fall in your particular astrological chart. And we had shown the astrological chart up before, which is that big round circle, the zodiac chart.
Right.
And each person, each individual has one from the time and the date that they were born and the location they were born. And that, like as an esoteric astrologer, I've talked about this before, that to me, when I look at a person's astrological chart, I'm looking at a picture of their soul, and I connect with them that way when in a reading. And so, the way that this is going to be affecting us, a lot of people, there was a lot of stuff on the internet for the last eclipse, which was August 21st. And then the portal opened. I don't know if you recall.
Oh, yes,
Okay,
yes.
because
That
all
there was
the
a portal,
Leo
but it was
going
open.
on.
But that portal opens
Opened on the 8th.
on
the 8th.
every August 8th.
8/8.
And lasts about,
Right.
3 days or
Right.
something like
I
that.
should have said before. Right, but 8/8. Every
Every
single year.
Now, tell me about this portal, though, because
Which I find interesting that the next eclipse is happening on the 8th day. But anyway, go ahead.
but that's
fours and
April
eights.
8th.
Yeah, but 4s and 8s
Oh, yeah.
are very strong.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Well, the portal, now when this portal opens every year now,
Yeah.
this is the first, recently is the first time I heard about it.
Yes.
But it's been going on all our lives, probably since the beginning of time. But
Yes.
when this opens, what happens? I mean, do spirits
Well,
come
it
in?
aligns with the pyramids in Gaza. The stars actually align, and that's why, yes, 3 stars align, and that's why the portal opens.
Uh-huh. And now,
The Egyptians knew what they were doing.
oh, I'm sure.
What?
Oh, yeah, they were very into all that.
Yeah.
But when the portal opens, then what does it do for us?
Well, we can move to a higher energy level. And how did you feel on that day? Do you remember?
I
Anything
remember
different?
feeling a good vibration, but then
It's all good.
It's
I
all
feel-
good.
I'm going to tell you, my interpretation is that it brings us up, and we kind of like get recalibrate
And energized or
yeah,
something?
and then downloaded and then just brought back. That's all. It's just a portal. There's portals in Sedona, Arizona. There's portals in Mexico. There's portals in Peru. There's portals all over the place.
I'm sure, but the things like I watch like a lot of ghost stories and stuff.
Oh, is that what? Oh, okay. Come
So
on.
that's
let's talk.
where my head is as far as that's concerned, because
Oh,
when
the
somebody
souls.
opens up a portal, that
Right.
means that sometimes good or bad can come and go.
You are so right.
Boy,
Boy, are you right about that. Now that I am in 100% agreement with.
So when this portal opens, does anything like that happen?
No, I don't feel anything bad from that. No,
Or-
it just energizes everything back to where we are really from. Well, I don't know if I should say that on the show, but that's my belief. It just brings us back to
In
the
other
star
words, it's
system.
like connected to our before time?
Yeah,
Ah.
and it just opens the gate so we can go back in for a little while, and then we come back.
Uh-huh.
And get recharged up.
And where is the portal?
The portal is up in the heavens, right? There's an alignment that happens with
So
the
it's
three
above
stars.
us.
Right.
Oh, I see.
In Leo.
In Leo. So now if we want to go and take advantage of this portal, we would like maybe go outside and hold our hands up or something and
Yeah, if you want to, but you really don't have to.
Okay.
You really
It
don't have to do
energizes you
anything.
anyway.
It's just going to happen. Anytime that there's an 8-8 anyway, that's infinity.
Right.
And the 8-8, the 8 symbolizes as above, so below. As above, so below. And so we're just connected much stronger to our origins. That's all. And just regenerated.
whether you know it or not.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, all these years I didn't know it. and now I do. So when it happened, I was more aware.
Yeah, and when you're aware, then it's a good time to allow yourself to go into a meditative state and be able to allow yourself to just, rise to the occasion, so to speak.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. But the 8 in numerology is extremely important because it's infinity. Now, the number 4 is also a very strong number because we have 4 seasons and 4 directions. And for the Native American people, that is a very spiritual number, the number 4. And that's why I find it so interesting that on 4/8/2024 will be the second eclipse.
Right.
Because dates, just like what we were talking about 8/8, right? The numbers in dates give off a vibration. And that's really about what numerology is about. That's what the universe is
So your
ultimately
birth number
about.
gives off a certain vibration then.
Yeah.
Whatever birth date you have,
Right,
month, day, year, and location.
right.
And that all is a certain vibration for a certain lifetime.
That in numerology, that's numerology. But in astrology, it's where you were born, on what day, at what time, and an astrologer is looking at where all the planets were and how they all affected you here on Earth at that exact moment of your birth. Even twins, they're not born at the same moment.
No, they're not. They're sometimes only minutes apart, though.
Exactly.
But doesn't
But they're
it change every
different.
4 minutes?
Yeah.
So if the twins are born within that same 4 minutes, they will have similar lives, right?
Similar, but there's also the effects because it all depends on what you're really looking at. The quickest moving, we call it a planet in astrology, is the moon. So you're also looking at the moon, you're looking at all the degrees because it isn't just whether or not the moon was in Libra at the moment of the child's birth, and it's the degree. Exact degree.
So every couple of seconds, it just keeps changing.
Yeah, it just keeps changing. Yeah. And a couple of minutes can make a huge
difference, huh?
1 minute actually could make a huge difference as far as the degree of the moon or a planet, or you know what I'm saying, as far as where it just makes a big difference. And then of course there's the environment that also you have to take into play. And
sure.
we all have our free will that
Right.
God has given
us.
that gift to us. So, but in reference to eclipses, everything just intensifies. Everything intensifies.
Oh, I see, yeah. So in other words, whatever's going on is going to be more intense.
Right. And if the degree of the eclipse, such as the one that happened on August 21st, 2017, that was a 28-degree eclipse. It was in Leo. The sun and the moon were at 28 degrees Leo. However, if you have any planets that are at 28 degrees in your natal chart, such as maybe the sun or Mars was at 28 degrees when you were born, that eclipse would make aspects and create even more of a shift more of a change for the person. Do you see what I'm saying? Yep.
So generally speaking, though, getting back to the country, this eclipse is making it, let's say, put in a nutshell, making it go on a certain path that toward a certain goal, toward a certain ending, not ending, but
No, not an ending.
no, toward a certain.
I feel to bring back balance. I'm going to tell you that's really what I feel.
So in other
from
words,
this
you feel
entire
over the
thing.
2-3 years after this eclipse that just happened in
Right,
August,
we're still dealing with
we're
all
going to
the
be.
shake
It'll
up.
cause us to balance out.
Yep. All the shake up, and then the effects of the next one is what's really then going to bring the balance. But, I have a very strong belief in God.
Me
and
too.
I know. And I believe that God loves the United States and wants to make it all good again, and wants us to all be able to live in peace with each other again.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel that these eclipses happen, and how you say, well, isn't it unusual that this happened, Well, it happens in other countries too. It's just
They have eclipses that we don't even know about.
You hear about it on the news that, if you're in
Europe somewhere.
Yeah, China, or you're
Whatever.
up there in Russia in a certain place, you'll see it, But those eclipses, they affect us a bit. They affect us even here a bit.
But mostly
because
they
it's an
affect them.
eclipse. Right. But when you are within the path of the eclipse, the closer you are physically as a human being on the earth to the path of the eclipse, the more it affects you.
I see.
Yeah. see
So
what
when
I'm
the
saying? So
eclipses
it's going-
happen in other countries, it's really affecting that country mainly.
Mostly, but
Mostly.
any eclipse is going to affect the world.
Right. But
It
it'll
sends out a
mostly
ripple.
affect where it's going over.
Mostly. Yes, because that's the intensity of it.
So this one was very intense for our country, and it's going. Now, what you're saying
Yeah,
in a
the next
nutshell
one.
is that it's putting us on a certain path toward getting things straightened out.
Right.
And by the next one, we'll really straighten things out.
Right. Some things that bother me about the one that happened on August 21st is such as the fires out west.
Yeah, you
Things
think
like
that
that
caused
we're
that?
talking about. Well, I mean, I got to tell you.
But these things happen every year.
No, I know, but pretty bad. Let me tell you, I have a friend of mine who lives in Oregon, and lives in the path of totality, right, of the August 21st eclipse. So she was dealing with that, but then also sending me pictures of the fires, where they're ready to evacuate. It was bad.
I'm sure
so
it was.
I know these things happen.
What about all
but-
these bad hurricanes that
And the
devastated
hurricanes.
Texas,
Yes.
Puerto Rico,
Yes.
all is, Florida?
Oh my.
Do you
I
think
know.
the eclipse would have had anything to do with those?
Well, it shakes things up, but that isn't really what because if you look at when you said before, it goes out in the ocean. Yeah, it does. When you look at that X marks the spot diagram that we had, the map, if
Yeah.
we could put that up.
Yeah, Guy, could you put that up again, please?
Look where it exited out, and look where it went in the ocean, right? And so that intensifies anything that's going on.
So it went out into the
there.
ocean,
so
and that's
it could
really
have
where
something to do with that.
Yeah, well, the hurricanes
But-
kind of started out there, right?
There's a lot, yes. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's where it ended up out there. Before you were talking about, well, where did it end up? Look, it went out in the ocean.
Right.
Yeah, it went out in the ocean, and it went right where the hurricanes all start.
And the moon
Controls the
water,
tide. And
the
water.
tide,
Right,
yes.
Right.
So that could have maybe
Yeah.
brought that on?
And any intensity of an eclipse, the eclipse has such a strong intensity, and the water is such it's the hugest, it's the biggest energy factor on the face of the earth, right? The water. So who knows? However, I feel it could have had something to do with it. However, there's also other factors at play here. And there are a lot of people that believe that the weather is being manipulated.
I know, I've heard that, but I can't imagine how. I can't imagine. How would you manipulate weather? How could you cause a hurricane? How could you cause anything that's going to be...
I don't know. I hear those things, but
I do. I hear them
believe in
too.
God,
Yes.
and I feel that God is the one who's
In control.
Total control.
Yes, yes. But if he's in total control, I guess he allows these things to happen.
Well, he's not the one who creates them.
The hurricanes.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean,
But he
I
could
guess.
stop it if he wanted to.
Well,
He could say, "Hey, wait a minute,"
well, there's a whole. There's a show I saw actually that was very interesting in reference to that. A movie. It was a book that had been out, so
yeah.
I don't know. In reference to that kind of thing, but anyway, I don't want to give an opinion on that.
Okay.
Okay, I just don't, because I do feel he's in control.
Yeah.
But I also feel that there are other evil forces that are at play constantly.
That he's allowing to have their free
for
will.
whatever reason.
Yeah, yeah.
And because if not, we would still be back in the Garden of Eden, right?
I guess,
where
yeah.
everything would be perfect, and that's not the case. One of the things too that I wanted to mention, did you see on the news where they showed how the two stars that had died had collided up in the universe? Did
No,
you
I
see
didn't-
that?
I didn't hear anything
and
about
that's
it.
actually where gold comes from, because it was so interesting.
So what happened when they collided?
They
I mean,
actually have
things
a
come
diagram
falling
of
down
it.
to earth
Yeah, and that's where gold comes from.
from the stars.
Yeah, the metals and everything from the
Really?
stars.
Wow.
Yeah, I found that very interesting because they have never been able to actually see something like that happening before. And there were two stars that
They
collided.
actually got this on
Yeah, that's where gold
tape.
comes from. I think that's so cool.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if gold comes from there, then how come we have to dig it out of the earth?
Because it then
it embeds
Yeah,
itself.
Yeah, a lot of people believe that gold was the, oh boy, we're getting kind of like off the topic, but that gold was the precious metal why certain visitors had come to
Earth.
the planet Earth, to mine it.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh?
You never heard about that?
No, and then they would bring it to other planets?
Yeah, and there's supposed to be a lot of, because of the qualities of gold for their travel, et cetera, and what they would,
So it's
pretty
valuable
heavy-duty.
everywhere.
Yeah, yes it is. Yes it is. I have a friend of mine, she's Buddhist, and she's from Vietnam, and she believes only in, she said, oh no, we have to have our 20 karat gold. We can't have, they want the highest quality gold, 24 karat gold.
For what?
To wear, because gold is a very precious metal that they view has such high properties, not just the value of it, but high energy and spiritual properties. Very interesting.
Yeah, it is very
Yeah,
interesting.
and then when
Wow.
I saw that about how NASA was able to actually, find out about that, about to get an image of those two stars colliding.
I'd like to
found
see
was
that.
so- yeah,
It's
I think
probably
you
gotta
should
be
Google
somewhere,
it.
yeah.
You got to Google it. That's
What
all.
would you Google?
It's, two stars colliding, gold. Just do that.
All right.
You'll find it.
See what happens. Okay,
Yeah.
did you hear that?
Pretty cool.
Two stars colliding,
Pretty
gold.
cool. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Sounds it, yeah.
Yeah.
It does sound like that.
But
But getting back to
yes, go ahead.
anything else you could tell us about how this eclipse and the one that's coming will affect us? What about on like a personal level for individuals?
Okay, well, that's very good, because the next eclipse that is coming is going to be in Aries. And that's independence. Aries is independence. And there's actually, at the time of the eclipse, there's going to be a whole lineup of planets in Pisces and in Aries.
Now, Pisces is a water sign.
Right. And Pisces is peace.
So I do know, I've heard that there will be
Peace
a
and
time.
leadership.
There will be a time where we will embark, the whole world will embark on 1,000 years of peace.
Yes.
I don't know when it's going to happen, though, because it's not happening yet.
Well, I had done a show with 10-year predictions in 2016, I think I did it. And a lot of the things that I had predicted have come to pass, including up until like 2020. We're still going to be dealing with a lot of the problems that we're dealing with now as far as feeling that division, but between each of us.
Different opinions.
Yeah, the different opinions. I mean, it's like
So
people
there's
who
no
used
hope
to be
until
your
2020.
friend, you could sit down and you could talk to.
But don't discuss
logically,
politics.
you can't anymore talk about politics
Unless you're on the
at
same page.
all.
Unless you're on the same
Because
page.
people disown each other and everything else.
I know.
Such a division in
It's
this
true.
country.
Yes.
And that's what I feel that the first eclipse was about. I feel the second eclipse is that it's going to bring back into play more of a balance in our country, and on top of that, also with Mexico and with Canada. That's how I feel. And with other countries.
In other words, we'll be closer to those two countries.
I feel that it's going to be better.
I mean, we don't have any problems with Canada. I don't think anybody from there really wants to come here that much. But from Canada, we don't have a big influx from Canada,
No,
as
we
we do
don't.
from Mexico. So I guess the people in Canada are pretty happy with what they got.
Right. But the reason, because the planetary effects of this next eclipse are kind of like the opposite of what the one in 2024 is opposite to the one that was in 2017.
Because it goes like this.
Yeah, but I mean, even the astrological effects of it, because what we were dealing with was a lot of Leo energy in August, that eclipse. And there were a lot of matters of the heart that people were dealing with at that particular time, too. A lot of changes happened in reference to that. And feelings, all about feelings and pride and that type of thing. Whereas the next eclipse, what we're looking at is more of, like I said before, a peaceful leadership kind of thing going on. We're going to want our independence, individuals I'm talking about. We're going to want our independence. We're going to want to be independent, but we're going to be doing it in a very peaceable way instead of just demanding. See what I mean?
And arguing with each other.
There's a difference, yeah. There's a difference. I just get concerned because both these eclipses, by the way, are happening in fire signs.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Ah.
Yes. Leo.
That's right, every 4 months.
And Aries.
Right, 4 months.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And but the one that's why as I said, I just can't wait for the next one to come. And in reference to the United States, the only thing is that I see here, I don't know, and here it is, and I'm going to just say it. I don't know if the stock market will be doing as good come 2024.
Yeah.
I just got to say.
So now's the time to make your money on the
Yeah,
stock
that's
market
my
and
point.
get out.
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you, now is the time. And I would suggest that very strongly.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing is that Pluto will have already passed for the United States. The planet Pluto is a very big, heavy hitter, and I still call it a planet.
Yeah, some people, I don't know why they decided it wasn't a planet. I mean, that was like desainting St. Christopher.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. That's good. Yeah, but it will have already passed the natal Pluto of the United States. This is important because a lot of shakeups happen when Pluto hits Pluto, transiting Pluto hits natal Pluto. So we're going to see a lot of things going on between now and 2024. But I feel 2024 is going to be like it's going to seal the deal in a balanced way.
Well, that's good. It's good news.
I think so.
And
I think so.
We're going on a very good path then, the country, that will bring us to a point where everybody's in more harmony.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
That's
yes.
excellent.
You know, I feel myself, the clients that I see when I do my readings and hypnosis, etc., the clients that I see, I can tell, like, even in their lives, they're trying to bring more harmony in. It's like they just don't want to deal with all this
I know.
so much.
Yeah, that's why I don't even like to talk about things.
Right. For an extended period of time, like if you went on Facebook or any social media, you were seeing all kinds of extremely negative things back and forth, back and forth. Have you noticed it's kind of like quieted?
Well, not for me. I have somebody that's really bothering me.
Oh, well, sorry. Oh, I hope it isn't about the show. We did.
No, had nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it.
Okay. But you can tell that people, they just want more harmony in their life. They're really trying to get that way. But things have really been shaken up in 2017 with this eclipse, and then before that, around that same period of time, okay, and the time of Leo, to me, it's all around that same period of time, the energy of it, us having 8/8, the portal.
Right.
And so, but everything got shook up. But now it just seems to be settling down. I really feel in 2018 it'll be much better.
Well, let's hope so.
Yeah.
Because that's around the corner.
Yeah.
In the
there were
meantime.
poor aspects.
Yes. Well, in the meantime, we've come to the conclusion now that the next few years, because of the eclipse, is going to put us on a path that's going to start us on being more harmonious
To each other. Yes, and
which
other
is a good
countries.
thing.
And yes.
And other countries.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And let's not forget who's leading us with this.
Exactly.
And a lot of people, they don't believe in him, but I tell people, wait and see.
Wait and see.
In
good.
the meantime, it was a wonderful conversation, so interesting. I hope that our audience has gotten something out of this. And thank you so much for coming in. I'm so glad you're getting better and you're healing.
Yes,
You're on the mend, thank God.
Thank you.
And everybody, good night.
Thank you for having me.
Take care now.
Good night.